sometimes the smartest solutions come from combining two things you'd never think go together. Today, we're talking about exactly that: chickens and solar panels. Yeah, I know it sounds a little weird, but stick with me, because this combination might just be a brilliant answer to some of the biggest problems our cities are facing right now. So let's just jump right into the big question here. How on earth can a solar farm, a place we think of for generating electricity, have anything to do with solving a food crisis? It seems like two totally different worlds, right? Well, it turns out they might be two pieces of the same puzzle. And to really get it, we first have to understand the puzzle that our cities are trying to piece together. It's a really tricky one, where everything is connected. I mean, think about it. We all want more fresh, local food. That's a good thing, but it takes up space. At the same time, we desperately need more clean energy to fight climate change, which also takes up a ton of space. And the one thing cities and the areas around them don't have is extra space. You see the problem? We're in this constant squeeze, trying to do more with less. Okay, so when you're short on space, you've got to get smart. And this is where a really clever kind of two-for-one idea comes into play. It's called agrivoltaics. So what is agrivoltaics? Well, it's basically doing two things on the same piece of land at the very same time. The easiest way to picture it is like a bunk bed for land. You've got the solar panels up on the top bunk, soaking up the sun and making clean power. And then, down on the bottom bunk, you've got farming happening. It's just a super efficient way to use our land. So here's how it breaks down. The solar panels are doing their job, generating electricity for the grid. Simple enough. But at the same exact time, the land right underneath those panels isn't just sitting there empty. It's actively being used to grow food, or in the case we're about to see, to raise animals. It's not a choice between one or the other. It's about doing both. And this is where it gets really, really cool. Let's get specific and talk about what happens when you introduce chickens to a solar farm. This isn't just about them sharing the same address. No, this turns into a genuinely symbiotic relationship where both sides really benefit. So yeah, what does happen? I mean, when you put these two together, do they just ignore each other? Not at all. It turns out they don't just share the space, they actually make each other's lives and jobs a whole lot better. Okay, first, let's look at it from the chickens' point of view. For them, those solar panels are like a giant permanent sun umbrella. This is huge. It gives them shade, which drastically cuts down on heat stress during hot days. And less stress means happier, healthier birds. It basically creates this perfect little microclimate for them to hang out in. But, and this is the really neat part, it is absolutely not a one-way street. The chickens basically become the solar farm's best employees. They act as a natural cleanup crew, pecking away at weeds and bugs so you don't need to use herbicides or mow as often. And their manure? That's free organic fertilizer enriching the soil. They're literally improving the land while they live there. So, when you pull it all together, what you get is this amazing triple win. It's a win for the chickens, who get a much better quality of life. It's a huge win for the community, which gets local food and clean energy from the same spot. And of course, it's a win for the planet. It's a more sustainable, more resilient system all around. Now, this all sounds fantastic on paper, but you've got to ask, does it actually work in the real world? Well, a team in Malaysia wanted to know the exact same thing, so they put it to the test. And they started pretty small, just 100-day-old chicks. They introduced them to a section of the Puchang solar farm. This wasn't some massive, expensive new build. It was a focused, real-world experiment to see if the idea had legs. The goal here was super practical. Malaysia, like a lot of places, wants to be more self-sufficient when it comes to food. So this whole test was designed as a proof of concept. Could this system be a real, tangible way to boost the local supply of chicken and eggs? Right away, one of the biggest questions was about the cost. Starting a new farm from scratch costs a lot of money up front. That's your capital expense, or CapEx. But here, they had a hunch they could get a massive head start by just using the infrastructure that was already there at the solar farm. And they were absolutely right. By using the solar farm's existing structures, the land, the fences, the support poles for the panels, they cut their initial setup costs by about 30%. That is a huge saving right out of the gate, and it makes the whole idea way more attractive financially. So what was the big takeaway? Well, the test was a success. It proved that this isn't just some wacky idea. It's a practical, dual-purpose farming system that actually works. But this experiment in Malaysia, as cool as it is, isn't happening in a bubble.
To really see the potential here, we need to zoom out a bit. This is part of a much bigger global shift in how we think about using land.
Yeah, this is happening all over the world. People are looking for creative ways to get the most out of every single acre. This idea of stacking functions, of optimizing our land, is really starting to take hold. And if you want to see what this looks like at a massive scale, just look at the Zhangjian Solar Park in China. They built this huge agrivoltaics project on land that was basically useless because of soil erosion. And their goal was what they called a triple triumph: good for the economy, good for the community, and good for the environment. Sounds familiar, right? It's that same triple win idea, just scaled way, way up.
So, what does this all mean? What does this creative blend of farming and energy tell us about where we're headed?
I think the researchers who ran that Malaysian study said it best. This is more than just a cool project. It's a stepping stone. It's a real step toward a food system that's more sustainable, more self-sufficient, and just a whole lot smarter about how it uses our most limited resource, land.
It really gets you thinking, doesn't it? Maybe the farm of the future isn't some high-tech thing we haven't invented yet. Maybe it's been hiding in plain sight this whole time, just waiting for us to look at the ground beneath our feet a little differently.